Hey everybody, this is David or Chessman here today, back covering Clutch Chess, the Clutch Chess Champions Showdown with Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, and Gukesh Domaraju. We did day 1 yesterday, now we're covering day 2. There was 6 more rounds 7 through 12, and we were going to take a look at the games. Yesterday, Gukesh was in the lead with 4 points, and we'll see you at the end. In the first game, we got Magnus Carlsen against Gukesh. Magnus with the white pieces with a 93.2 accuracy, while Gukesh has the black pieces with an 88.8 accuracy. Take a look. Got a ready opening. Turns into a King's Indian attack. Says e5 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. Looks like this gives white a point and a half advantage, so a pretty big mistake. If white plays d takes e5 or rook takes c7. And he plays rook takes c7. This f4 is another mistake. Let's see how bad a mistake this was. Seems like it was only a minor mistake. Now, white has, again, a little over a point and a half advantage. Close to point in 3/4. If he plays e takes f4. And he does. Looks like bishop f5 was a mistake by white. And this drops the advantage down to about a point if black plays queen takes b5. And he does not. Instead he plays queen takes e6, which gives white a over 2 point advantage if he plays bishop takes e6, which of course he does. So white is clearly winning. And Magnus won. And this makes Carlsen 2 out of 2. Actually, that doesn't make sense. That score, I guess they reset the scores every day. That's interesting. So it's not going to tell me what the overall score is. So we'll just have to take a look at after all the games. The second game of round 7, we have Hikaru Nakamura with the white pieces versus Fabiano Caruana. Hikaru had only an 86.4 accuracy, while Fabiano had a 95.5 accuracy. I see quite a few mistakes in this short game. Let's take a look. We got a Sicilian defense. Looks like a4 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. This gives black a slight edge if he plays b4. And he does. Knight a5 seems to be a mistake by black. Let's see if it was a big one. This gives white the slight edge if he plays bishop a2, which of course he does. Knight takes d4 was a mistake. Let's see how big of a mistake it was. This brings the advantage down to almost 0, so it's an even game. If black plays e5, which he does. Knight 2 to b3 was a mistake. This gives black a slight edge. If he plays e takes d4, which he does. a5 was a mistake. And this gives black a huge edge, almost a point and a quarter, if he plays rook a to c8 or rook f to c8. And he plays rook a to c8. So queen d2 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. This does give black a major advantage, over 2.5 points, if he plays bishop to b3, which he does. And black wins. And so again, I guess the game is worth 2 points. Okay, I think I understand. So every day they reset what their wins are. So I don't know how that helps, but I think on game 2 each game is worth 2 points. So Fabiano has 2 out of 2, which means he won 1 game. A little confusing. We'll go to round 8, which was the second round of the day. This round, in the first game, we got Gukesh versus Magnus. Gukesh with the white pieces got a 91.7 accuracy, while Magnus got a 94.3 accuracy. See a couple mistakes. Let's see what happened. Got an Italian game. Knight f3 was the first inaccuracy. Let's see if it was a big one. This gives black a slight edge if he plays queen takes d4 or knight g4. And he does play queen takes d1. Queens get traded. h4 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a costly one. This does give black over a 3.5 point advantage if he plays b5. c6 is also a great move, but he does play the b5. And so black is completely winning. And looks like another mistake, but Magnus with the black pieces won the game. And he is now 4 out of 4. Or 2 out of 2 games for the day. Next game, we got Fabiano Caruana with the white pieces versus Hikaru Nakamura. Fabiano had a 91.6 accuracy, while Hikaru had a 97.3 accuracy. Don't see too many mistakes, especially in the first 2/3 of the game. But let's see what happened. Looks like we got an English opening. Pretty much even so far. Looks like a draw. F4 was the first mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. This does give black a point advantage if he plays king c5, and he does. Knight d5 was a mistake. This gives black over a 2-point advantage if he plays king c4, which he does. Knight f6 was another mistake. And this gives black 4.5-point advantage if he plays king d4, which he does. So Hikaru wins the game and is 1 out of 2 today, or 2 out of 4. And Fabiano is also 2 out of 4. In round 9, we have Gukesh with the white pieces versus Hikaru with the black pieces. Gukesh got a 97.4 accuracy, while Hikaru got a 97.3 accuracy. I see a couple mistakes in the game. Let's see what happened. We've got a Nimzo Indian defense. Knight c4 was the first mistake by black. This gives white about a 3/4 point advantage if he plays king g3. And he does not. He plays b3, which was a missed opportunity. This brings the advantage back down close to 0. And the game ends in a draw. This puts Hikaru 3 out of 6 today, and Gukesh is down 1 out of 6. In the next game, we got Fabiano Caruana with the white pieces versus Magnus Carlsen. Fabiano has a 94.1% accuracy, while Magnus got an 88.9% accuracy. I think that might be his lowest accuracy so far. I see only one mistake, but let's see what happened. Got a Roy Lopez, Berlin defense. Rook b8 was a mistake by black. Let's see if it was a big one. This does give white over a 1.5 advantage if he plays h4. And he does. I think that was the only mistake of the game. Actually not. Bishop d6 was a mistake. And this gives white almost 4-point advantage if he plays knight f6. Bishop takes d6 is also a great move. And he plays knight f6. So white's completely winning. And Fabiano takes the win here, putting him 4 out of 6. Up with Magnus, who's also 4 out of 6. As we go to round 10. Round 10, we got Hikaru Nakamura with the white pieces versus Gukesh with the black pieces. Hikaru got a 91.8 accuracy in the game, while Gukesh also got a 91.6 accuracy. See a couple blunders and a couple mistakes. Let's see what happened. Looks like we got a 4 knights game. Looks like we got a missed opportunity here. Let's see what the move was. Slight inaccuracy. It looks like knight takes e4 was the move. That would have given black a slight edge. Instead he plays bishop g4. And that gives white a slight edge. But white makes an inaccuracy with bishop g5. This gives black a slight edge if he plays bishop e7, which he does. Bishop takes f6 was a mistake. And this gives black a point and almost a point and a half advantage if he plays g takes f6. And he does. Rook d6 was a mistake. And this brings black's advantage to a slight edge. Looks like a4 was a mistake. This gives black about a point and almost 2 points advantage if he plays queen c5. And he does not. He blunders and plays queen d5. And this loses black's advantage. It's almost zeros. Black still has a slight edge, but it's nothing really. Looks like rook b7 was a blunder. This gives black a 1.5 point advantage if he plays rook b3. And he does not. He misses that opportunity. Now it's all even. And the game ends in a draw. Gukesh is now 2 out of 8, while Hikaru is 4 out of 8. Second game in round 10 is Magnus Carlsen versus Fabio Caruana. Magnus has the white pieces and only got a 73% accuracy, and Fabiano only got a 78.5 accuracy. So quite a few mistakes in this game. Let's see how it starts. Got a Queen's Gambit accepted. Bishop f4 was an inaccuracy. This gives black a slight edge if he plays b5 or e6. Plays e6. King e2 was an inaccuracy. This gives black a huge edge, almost a point and a half advantage if he castles or plays e5. Plays e5. Rook b1 was a mistake. And this gives black a 3-point advantage if he plays g5. And he does. So black's completely winning. Knight c5 was a mistake by black and loses half the advantage. He's only ahead by a point and a half advantage. Only is about a point and a half if he plays knight d4. If white plays knight d4, and he does not, instead plays king e3, and this gives black a 3.5 point advantage, so completely winning again. And f6 was a mistake. And this loses a lot of the advantage. He's only a point and a half advantage now if he plays g takes f6 or knight e4. He plays knight e4. F takes g5 was a mistake. And this loses most of the advantage. He only has a slight edge now if he plays knight c3. But white misses that opportunity and plays h takes g5, which is a huge miss. Now black's winning again with over a 3-point advantage if he plays knight d3. Knight a4 is also a good move, and bishop f5. He plays bishop f5, which was the third option. Bishop takes e4 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. This loses a lot of the advantage. Black's only ahead by about a point. King c3, however, was a mistake. This gives black, again, almost a 4-point advantage if he plays knight d1 check, and he does. And black wins the game. This puts Fabiano 6 out of 8 and wins a bonus at $2,000. For every win, you get $2,000. So so I think he's up to $6,000 today. I could be wrong. Maybe those are draws. Round 11, we got Hikaru with the white pieces versus Magnus with the black pieces. Hikaru got an 89.7 accuracy, while Magnus got a 95.5 accuracy. See a couple mistakes in the game. See what happened. Looks like we got a perk defense. Looks like b4 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. Just a slight mistake. This gives white a slight edge, but nothing major. Bishop c6 was a mistake. This gives... But black still has a slight edge. If white plays knight takes c6, which is the best move. And he does. So black has a slight edge. Bishop b6 was a mistake. And this gives black over a point and a quarter advantage if he plays queen e7. Queen d7 was the second best move, giving black almost a point advantage. And black has a significant advantage now, over 5 points. And it's completely winning. And Magnus wins it and brings his score to 6 out of 10, while Hikaru is only 4 out of 10. So good game by Magnus. In the second game of that round, we got Gukesh with the white pieces versus Fabiano with the black pieces. Gukesh got an 86.7 accuracy on this game, and Fabiano got a 94.7 accuracy. I do see a couple mistakes. We got d4, knight f6. Let's see, we got a King's Indian defense. Knight f3 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big advantage. This gives black a slight advantage if he plays bishop takes c3. And he does not. He misses that. Instead plays queen to g6. And let's see how this affects the advantage. This gives white a slight edge. So pieces get traded. f3 is a mistake. And this gives black a slight edge now if he plays knight g6, which he does. h6 is a missed opportunity. Let's see what the move was that he should have played. Looks like rook h4 or h takes g6 would have been the move. Instead he played h6. And see, bishop b7 was a missed opportunity. Let's see what the move was. Looks like king to h7 was the move. This would have given black a point, almost a point and a quarter advantage. Instead he played bishop b7. Bishop g5 was a big blunder. This gives black over a 2 1/4 point advantage if he plays rook takes f1, and he does. And Fabiano takes the win, bringing a score 8 out of 10, and he's pocketed another $2,000. Let's take a look at round 12. Round 12, we got Magnus Carlsen with the white pieces versus Hikaru Nakamura. Magnus got a 95.9 accuracy, while Hikaru got an 87.3 accuracy. Do see a couple mistakes in the game. Let's see how it happened. We got a Sicilian defense, hyper accelerated dragon. Looks like queen c5 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. This gives black a slight edge if he plays f5, which he does. Rook b4 was a mistake. This gives white a slight edge if he plays queen c5, and he does. c5 was a mistake. Let's see if it was a big one. This gives white a 1.5 advantage if he plays knight e2 or knight b5. Plays queen e3 instead. And I think that was the third best move, so he's still over a 1.25 advantage. Bishop e8 was a mistake. And this gives white almost a 3-point advantage if he plays knight d5. Knight e2 is also good. He played knight d5. So Magnus takes the win, and this puts Magnus 8 out of 12, and he just pocketed $2,000. While Caro is at 4 out of 12. And the last game of the day, we got Fabiano with the white pieces versus Gukesh. Looks like the best game of the day. Fabiano got a 98% accuracy, and Gukesh got a 98.5% accuracy. And I only see one mistake in the game. So it looks like the game to end it. Got a Roy Lopez, Morphe defense. Looks like 95 was a mistake. But the game is still even. Black's best move is knight takes e5, and he plays it. And after a threefold repetition, ends in a draw. And this puts Fabio 9 out of 12. He might be the leader. Let's take a look. So for the day, Fabiano is the leader. He has a total of 9 points from day one. From day two. Magnus has 8 points for day two. Hikaru 4 points and Gukesh 3. But in the overall standings, Magnus is the current leader with 11.5 points. Fabiano second with 10.5. Hikaru and Gukesh are tied for third with 7. So, I mean, that's what I expected. I expected Magnus to be winning, and he is. And they got 1 day left. And on day 3, the games are worth 3 points. And if you win a game, you get 3,000 points, $3,000. So that's going to be exciting, and I'm going to be covering that. If in the future, if there are any other tournaments that you think I should cover, just tell me in the comments, and I'll try to do it. If they're on chess.com, then it makes it easy. I think I can do Lead Chess if it's on Lead Chess as well. But yeah, I'll be glad to do it. I got a bunch of other videos you can watch, and at some point I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. I'll let you know about that. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.